In the comments section, Stephen Barnes says, let's get the rest of the anti-air systems in Crimea and hit the Kerch Bridge. And it's a great point, Stephen, right? That's the goal. There's no doubt about it. Now, a couple of things about this. We've seen in this past week the Ukrainians just pummel Crimea. Unbelievable. And, of course, extend power over the Black Sea. The Black Sea fleet at this juncture is basically hiding in Novosibirsk. And it looks like they're bugging out of Sevastopol. This is a targeted, focused campaign by the Ukrainians to make life in Crimea untenable for the Russians. There is no one that can deny that at this time, except, of course, for the Russian MOD, who keeps saying that everything is fine and they're shooting down all the missiles and drones. It's hysterical. These guys are fact-proof. They really are. Now, in a different video, I reported on how yesterday a bunch of Storm Shadow missiles took out the Black Sea Fleet HQ. And so both the Annex building and the HQ, in a full decapitation of the Black Sea Fleet Command and Control in Crimea, was executed. Now, in terms of air defense, dig this. I have only just learned that there is a plan, an operation, a strategy. I'm not sure, but it's a coordinated effort by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense called the Suppression of Enemy Air Defense. And so all of these operations, all of these tactical moves are part of this larger plan to eliminate air defense in Crimea and leave Crimea open for the taking, right? Now, dig this. We just got word yesterday that the U.S. has assured Zelensky that we're going to send ATACMS. And I was really excited about that because the first thing that we all think about when we hear ATACMS is we think about the Kerch Bridge. Awesome. Going to be able to take out the Kerch Bridge, no problem. Now it's being reported that the ATACMS that we're sending are cluster munitions. Now look, I'm okay with the use of cluster munitions by the Ukrainians because they don't use them on civilians, right? They use them on military targets. They're American cluster munitions. They only have a 3% dud rate, 3 to 4% dud rate. It's not like the Russian cluster munitions with a 30 to 40% dud rate and getting used on civilians. It's a very different situation. So I'm okay with the cluster munitions being used by Ukraine. However, the point of the ATACMS, I thought, was to take out the Kerch. But then Jonathan M.S. Pierce, who, if you don't follow on YouTube, I highly recommend that you do. He's my go-to guy for daily happenings in Ukraine. The guy has sources galore, and he does a phenomenal job. And he pointed out, he said, wait a minute, suppression of enemy air defense. ATACMS airbursted over an airfield will take out every plane on the runway. Yeah, they will, baby. Yes, they will. And so that put the whole ATACMS piece into a new light for me. And it made me happy that the Biden administration has finally come around on this. Now, for the Ukrainians, it sure does look like everything is going to plan. And Russian air defense is being eviscerated in Crimea, as is the Air Force or whatever fixed-wing aircraft they have in Crimea. Now, dig it. The Russians just keep lying. To the best of my knowledge, There is nothing true about this report from the Russian MOD, where they say that they took out all the Su-24s that were responsible for the attack on Sevastopol. I have yet to find any evidence that any of this is true. And so it does go to the point that the Russians are in serious denial of reality. And when I see folks on here that are similarly handicapped, fact-proof, as it were, I cannot help but think that they are victims of this Russian propaganda. And I don't know how we get our fellow Americans to get interested in facts again. But we gotta figure that out, because it's a problem and it plays into our enemy's hands.